Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 1340, written by Library DJ 0808. Glitches behind the curtains. When I was in high school, we had a very small budget and depended on local shops and thrift stores in the town to give us donations and leftovers for costumes, props, etc. For this play, naturally, we needed a crap ton of plants, so we got some old flowers from the local florist shops and some fake stuff from our own stash of props. The local college even offered to let us perform on one of their stages, so we would have better quality lighting and seating as a favor. It was great. For a week, we did this play, and all went well. The last night we ran the show was the night I saw something that I, to this day, cannot rationalize or explain. I had a relatively large part in the play, so most nights when I wasn't on stage, I was off stage trying to catch my breath and rest a little until my cue came. The last night we ran the show, I decided to watch my peers from behind the set to try to soak in some memories. It was my last play before graduating. From behind the set, as I was peeking out through a window in the flower shop, I noticed small, measured movements on stage a distance away from the actors. I looked more closely, and it looked like a flower in a terracotta pot was undulating. Its petals were slowly opening and closing in a measured rhythm. I thought I was seeing things, so I literally rubbed my eyes to clear them. That flower was freaking moving. I stared at it for a good minute, maybe a minute and a half, trying to figure out what the hell I was looking at. I knew it wasn't a fake flower or something mechanical. I had helped set the stage as a prop manager every performance night. It was a real flower. I had also been working on the set and props for weeks and weeks and knew which ones were fake and which ones were real, donated flowers and so on. This was a real flower in a pot on stage, moving. The best I could figure was that the heat of the lights was causing to, I couldn't go investigate like I badly wanted to because we were in the middle of a scene. The next day, we had so much help from college-age theater kids and our own crew that the set got cleared before I could find that particular flower. I told one person about it, and they wrote me off like I must have been seeing things. I get it, I thought I was too. But I stared long enough and looked so closely to make sure it wasn't just me that, I'm sure it wasn't just me. It's not scary or even that interesting, but I absolutely cannot explain what I saw. In fact, if anyone has ideas, I'd love to hear them. Case notes file 1340. Glitches from behind the curtains. You know about that heat distortion effect you see often on a hot summer day over asphalt roads? The wavy shimmer in the air? Sounds exactly like this, but the distortion would have to be in space-time itself. So a ripple within a certain location, like between the vector of you and the plant, you were just seeing into a different universe where the plant was accelerated in time and it was still a real plant. That's the only thing I could think of that would cause this. Ripples in space-time. Weird stuff, for sure. Bonus file written by surelyunimportant. The Unexplained Hospital Ring Miracle. A few weeks before my granddad died in April, I started wearing 2 rings I had inherited from a family member on a chain around my neck. I've had them for years, and always wear them when I feel like I need a bit of luck or support. Makes me feel as if someone is looking out for me, even though I know I don't really believe in the afterlife or the supernatural. I knew he was sick, so I'd not long start wearing them again, only I hadn't put them on a chain this time because the uniform policy at work meant I couldn't wear them as I usually did on my finger. The clasp on the chain can be quite stiff to open, so I just throw it over my head with the rings attached because it's long enough to not have to open. So the rings and the chain had been together for a few weeks at this point, without me ever opening the clasp because there was no need. So I was at work with another colleague about 2 feet away from me. I had the rings tucked well down my shirt, hanging right around heart level, my uniform zipped up over them, a plastic apron and my gloves on. I'm a nurse. I was busy doing something, so my hands weren't anywhere near the rings, and I wasn't even thinking about them. There wasn't any way I could have touched them or got them caught on anything. Then I felt something cold touch my stomach, and the next thing I knew, one of the rings had dropped on the floor. I was confused at how it had happened, and I thought maybe the chain had broken, even though it's quite sturdy. and I didn't want to lose it, so I took my apron and gloves off and pulled the chain out of my shirt. The chain was intact and still clasped tightly together, and the other ring was still on it. So somehow, one ring had come cleanly off the chain without the other one falling off, and with the chain still clasped together. My colleague was just staring at me like, what the hell? And I'm not really a believer in the supernatural, like I said, so I just cracked a joke saying, I hope that wasn't a sign or someone trying to tell me something, and laughed it off. Not 5 minutes later, I got a call to say my granddad had deteriorated and I needed to come home. I left work that day to care for him, and 2 weeks later, he died. I know there's got to be an explanation for it, but part of me doesn't want to know it because the mystery makes me feel like maybe I was actually being looked out for. I wear the rings on my finger now because I can't shake the feeling that there was something more to that little mystery than the logical side of my brain wants to believe. And frick the uniform policy. If anyone calls me out on it, I'll tell them a ghost told me to wear them. Okay, so to the bonus file, the Unexplained Hospital Ring Miracle. So there you have it, your own personal ghost stylist. Nice. It's a solid thing, right? The juxtaposition intended, for a ghost to give you a sign of his existence. So phasing out one ring while the chain is still intact, and it's no magic trick where the chain has a false link or something, no. It's as close to real magic as anyone can get. And it's not magic, but it's still like the scientific method, testing, hypothesis, etc. In this case, it is very real and it really happens. But you're not going to find it in a science textbook. So you have to experience it yourself to truly believe it. This applies to me too. I read so many of these stories, and I believe they're true, but it's still almost just a theoretical belief until it happens to you. It's not deep in your soul, you know what I mean? And now time for the quote of the day. In every aspect of our lives, we are always asking ourselves, how am I of value? What is my worth? Yet I believe that worthiness is our birthright. Oprah Winfrey. Hey, an Oprah quote. I like Oprah. Giving away stuff, it's nice. But knowing your worth, right? What does that mean? Is there a cosmic judgment of worth? Someone weighing the scales and deciding if our intent was justified or if we're just good or bad people and then we're given a certain amount of stuff depending on that? I don't think it applies that way. I think worth is an internal aspect. It's a mindset. Do you believe you're worthy of love, worthy of a good life? I think a lot of people, maybe because of trauma, maybe because of how they were raised, they weren't given enough love and attention. They don't think that they're worthy of any of that stuff. That manifests in a lot of self-destructive behavior, which is very sad, and it's hard to peel away that trauma. And I'm not a therapist, I can't do that for anyone, but I do recommend therapy to people who do struggle, because it's not about cosmic judgment. Everyone, unless you're an actual evil person, in my view, is worthy of love and affection and a good life. I know, it doesn't mean that you're worthy of $1 billion or anything like that. I just mean that the simple things in life, and to not be stressed out all the time, A lot of that, though, is not really about what we deserve or how worthy we are. It's just about going out and carving out that slice of life for yourself. But really, it does depend on you believing you are worthy of that, because if not, you won't have the will to go and carve out that life. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.